Well, my guess is that very few of you watching this will be old enough to remember the film Cabaret, in which the song "Money Makes the World Go Round" appears. However, some of you may do. That's the theme of this talk. Money makes the world go round, and I hope that what I demonstrate is that it's false. Money, in fact, probably doesn't make the world go round. Nevertheless, you will probably have heard numerous people saying to you, if only I could win the lottery, I would be a happy person. If only I could win the lottery, there would be all sorts of things that I could do that could transform my life, and my life would become great. So it's a common misconception among people that money, and lots of it, will make them feel happy. However, there are numerous examples of people in recent times and in times gone by for whom this has not been the case. Instead, their lives have ended in great misery and, in some cases, disaster. A few names from recent times. All of these people have been lottery winners. Keith Goff, Stuart Donnelly, Callie Rogers, Michael O'Leary, David Dias, Nigel Gardner-Hale, Mike Antonucci, and Michael Carroll. All of these people have ended up very unhappy, some in prison, some in misery, and Michael Carroll recently applied for his job again back with the bin service. So I want to go back a number of years to some ancient wisdom, saying from Buddhist teaching that life is full of suffering. Sounds pretty miserable. However, that there is a remedy to this suffering, thankfully. But unfortunately, the remedy does not lie in money. Now, no one would deny that a level of purchasing power is essential. In fact, it's very clear that poverty is a major contributor to mental health difficulties. However, it's also becoming clear that beyond a certain point, a certain level of income, our happiness ceases to grow. And in some cases, our happiness begins to deteriorate with the amount of money that we have. So we could say that money contributes to our unhappiness. Now, psychologically, many people use money as a way of filling themselves up. They have this idea that if they have more money and more possessions, they will feel more complete, more full, and therefore less unhappy. However, this is a trick, and it's a trick that doesn't really work, because it's a bit like filling your petrol tank with water and hoping that your car will run. It doesn't, because you're filling your car with the wrong substance. What people are trying to do is to create a feeling of significance for themselves. It's what human beings need to do, to feel significant in some way. But what people don't realize is that the method of doing it via money isn't going to work for them. What various psychological studies which have been carried out in this area have demonstrated is that happiness is produced by a combination of factors. There's no one single thing that we can say contributes exclusively to creating happiness. So in a way, it's a team effort. And a number of the things which have been identified as contributing to happiness include gratitude, being thankful for what we have, being employed, not necessarily the level of income that we have in being employed, but being employed itself, our performance at work, and feeling that we're doing a good job and that that job is appreciated by others. Very importantly is the role of friendship in creating happiness. And closely allied to this is our relationship status. What psychologists have found is that people who are in long-term stable relationships tend to be happier than those who aren't. Interestingly, that this works better for men than it does for women, but nevertheless women too have an increased happiness through that relationship. Religion, yes, because religion contributes to giving us a sense of meaning. The level of leisure activity that we have in our lives, our physical health, the level of extroversion that we experience, Introverts tend to be less happy than extroverts. Feeling reasonably in charge of our lives. It's a sense that whatever actions we take will be somehow influential. And maybe this connects with the issue about poverty raised earlier, because people who live in poverty have much less control over what happens in their lives. And finally, an interesting contribution to happiness is regular sexual intercourse. I'll leave you to think about that one. But what's important is that income features way down the list. The level of money that we have doesn't seem to count. In fact, some of the happiest people in the world are monks who have given up all their money, all their possessions, and go out begging each day. And this brings me back to the starting point, the ancient wisdom that I spoke about earlier. Amid all the psychological research that has been carried out, one factor stands out very clearly, and that is that people cannot be happy through pursuing selfish interests, that the main road to happiness involves being interested and caring for and about other people. So I'll end with a quotation from an ancient monk called Santideva, who says, "All the suffering in the world comes from seeking pleasure for oneself, and all the happiness in the world comes from seeking pleasure for others." Thank you.